Basic notions. This is geometry. Here's the figure, the name, and the symbol. So this is a point. The idea of a point is location, and you name it with one capital letter. This would be a point. It's point A. It's a one capital letter to name a point. Line segment, it's like a piece of a line. Line segment has endpoints. So it's line segment AB. Notice the symbol, you put a little bar, you draw a picture of what you're talking about. Notice the order of A and B does not matter. It could be line segment AB or line segment BA. Line, it has arrows at the end. Notice again, we use 2 points to name a line. Line AB or line BA. Or you can name a line with just one lowercase letter. This is line M. Line M. More figures. Notice this is like a line that lots its arrow. One of its arrows on the other side, it's a ray. The name of this figure is a ray. This is a ray. And with a ray, when you name a ray, you have to be careful because you have to name the end point first and then the other point. So the end point's always named first, and then you draw a picture of a ray. So this is ray AB. This is a plane. Notice 3 points in the plane can name a plane. So this can be called plane ABC. Or you can name a plane with just one lowercase letter. This would be plane G. Lines can be coplanar lines on the same plane. So you have a plane, you have a line on it or in it. It's a coplanar. You have more than one line, they're coplanar. They're using the same plane. Intersecting lines, they intersect at one point. They have one point in common, intersecting lines. Skew lines cannot be contained on a single plane. So if they're not on the same plane, the lines, they're skew lines. Angles. Angles represent rotation. So it's the idea of rotation. This one's rotating counterclockwise. There's different ways to name an angle. Notice this angle can be called angle ABC, angle CBA, but either way, the B, the middle one has to be the vertex where these two rays join and meet. This is the vertex. You could also call it angle B, or you could call it angle 1. Adjacent angles are angles that are next to each other, but in a very specific way. Adjacent angles share a side. Angle 1 and angle 2 are adjacent angles and share a common vertex. And the interiors do not overlap. So all these requirements have to be present for the angles to be considered adjacent angles. When we measure angles, this is like our guide. We have 0 right here. And this amount is a 90-degree rotation. Another 90 degrees will get you 180 degrees. Another 90 degrees will get you to 270 degrees. And another 90 degrees will get you to 360. Notice you can rotate clockwise, or counterclockwise. Angle measure, you could measure angles using degrees, minutes, and seconds. You might think, well, that's time. But in the context of angles, minutes and seconds also represent rotation. 1 degree equals 60 minutes. 1 minute equals 60 seconds. So this is a symbol for degree. This is a symbol for minutes. Notice we have one more symbol. These are seconds. It's like 1 prime is 1 minute, 2 primes is 1 second. Example, 29 degrees, 47 minutes, 13 seconds. Now we're going to add these two measurements of angles. So make sure you line them up, the degrees with the degrees, the minutes with the minutes, and the seconds with the seconds. So notice 29 plus 41 is 70. So what you do is every time you hit a quantity of 60, you need to carry it over. So 70 is 60 plus 10, 60 seconds plus 10 seconds. You keep the 10 seconds and you move the 60 over, but it moves over not as seconds, it lands as minutes. So this is 35 plus 1, that's 36. So now you add 36 plus 55, that's 91. But 91, you could break it down into 60 minutes plus 3 minutes. So this 60 minutes is going to go over as 1 degree, and the 3 minutes will stay behind. So now we have up to here. And then finally, you move to the next column where you have that degrees. Notice this 1 degree came from the middle column. You add these numbers vertically and you get 40 degrees, 31 minutes, 10 seconds. We have different types of angles. If you have an angle that's greater than 0 degrees but less than 90, you call it an acute angle. Angles that measure exactly 90 degrees are called right angles. Angles that are greater than 90 but less than 180 are called obtuse angles. Angles that measure 180 degrees are called straight. It's in a straight line, going from one side of the straight line to the other, you've gone through 180 degrees. And then if you go beyond 180 but less than 360, you call that a reflex angle. Notice it's greater than 180 but less than 360 degrees. More on angles. Complementary angles are two angles that when you add them give you 90 degrees. Supplementary angles, when you add them, two angles, they give you 180 degrees. Now notice that it's not just adding up to 90 degrees and adding up to 180 degrees. It has to be true that it can only be two angles. So if you had three angles adding to 90, they're not complementary, because the definition of complementary and supplementary involves only two angles.